So I want you to do this right now. I'm about to give you some game that'll change your life. Whatever is your biggest, highest goal, think of the most impossible, craziest thing that could ever happen to your life that you would love to happen. Decide on that goal. And rather than whatever you think is going to take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, try to do it in 6 months to a year. Set a goal to do whatever you think is the biggest thing that's impossible, that's going to take 8 years from now. What would it take for you to do it in 1 year? What that's going to require you to do is shift everything you're doing, switch every single tack that you're doing and throw it away. Throw away all of the foolish stuff that you think you got to do that you really don't got to do. Then you'll actually find the expedited way. The real most successful people on this earth, they aren't going the regular way. They taking shortcuts. You got to learn how to take the shortcut. What if I told you that your biggest goal in life that you think is going to take a decade to accomplish could be accomplished in 6 months? You would just have to do a completely different thing.
Okay. I seen this clip. And don't get me wrong. Clips like this, right? So he is someone who's at the very... I'm sorry. I had a carbonated drink. I'm sorry. I'm going to belch. My bad. Gangsters fuck up too. Besides that...
Because I always respected your hairline on television.
Now his hairline... shit, man. I'm just saying, bro. First of all, let's put this on. He is someone who is towing in the line of being... You're making some sense there, right? What he's talking about is the 10X method, where you're trying to pretty much maximize your productivity. All right. So I'm going to speak to this real quick because I feel like this is the kind of content that goes viral. And the reason why it goes viral is because a lot of girls can see this kind of clip. And what it speaks to is, I'm not going to have to be prepared to go the long run, to pay some heavy fees, some heavy costs, some heavy investment cost. It's about the person. Don't get me wrong. There is something to increasing your productivity, but your productivity cannot increase enough to where you're saving more time and covering more ground until you build up the momentum, right? And you constantly are retweaking what you're doing. But don't get me wrong, he's not necessarily lying, but saying that your biggest goal ever can happen in 1 year, that's not good advice, because basically you're conditioning the listener or whoever's watching you to expect it to happen in 1 year. Now, the most optimistic ending could be that, oh well, during the journey of trying to make my craziest goal ever happen in 1 year, because, bro, excuse me. Like, for example, I'm like, you know what, damn, when you say that, I'm like, damn, you know what, I would love to have 10 million subscribers on each of my channels. Which, again, that's not impossible, but it takes a lot of time to build up that. Those are big dog numbers, okay? Once you start getting to 1 million subscribers, those are big dog numbers, and that means now you have a lot of power on YouTube. That means you have a lot of reach, potentially. And ironically, a lot of people who have that many subscribers are not able to even utilize or even get 1 million views on anything, even though they have 1 million subscribers, and which is always a wild concept. And it has to do with you learning how to make your audience connect with you, right? Make your audience care about you. Anyway, that's a little bit of a sidebar. But the reason why I wanted to call this out is because I feel like women and lazy people, or people who do not want to work for a long time. Like, for example, I do think I could be doing more, but I'm doing more as I'm learning what to do. And I'm understanding, okay, time and scheduling in certain pockets of the day. Like, certain pockets of my day are going to have to go to content, going to have to go to writing. Like, I'm seeing now, I'm going to have to try to do a quick session before I go to work every day. Try to, whether I'm writing a song, writing a verse, doing just recording some vocals and whatnot. I had to get myself comfortable again with recording vocals and get my mind into, record music again. But it's going to happen. For sure. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, I think you can cover a lot of ground, but I just don't like the long-term ramifications of the people who look at this kind of stuff and then they become the kind of people who don't have any endurance, who are not able to take on setbacks. Because again, it's going to be your faith that supports your long-term thinking. And your ability to do long-term thinking helps you to make better choices because your choices will age better. You're thinking about other factors, other scenarios, what's going to be going on in the future. You know what I mean? So, perfect example. That lesbian that got fired on her first day of working at a school. You know how badly schools need substitute teachers? You know how bad of a job you have to do? First of all, you don't get fired from the school. Like very few schools actually hire a sub. So that school may have been hiring her as like their resident sub, where like you'll go to other class because there are some schools that just have a substitute teacher that pretty much. Ooh, man, this poor chair. Anyway, there are some there are some teachers who I'm sorry, there are some substitute teachers who actually work at the school, and whenever someone's out, they come and do the class. You know what I mean, so that does happen. But anywho, sorry. So yeah, man. So I saw this the other day, and I want to speak on it. But I wanted to speak to this the match made in heaven right here. Hold on, man.